Hey guys, welcome to the Good Buddies Anime Podcast. I am your good buddy, Roger.
I am your good buddy, Brandon.
And we are doing the finale, the last 4 episodes, that is episode 9, 10, 11, and 12 of Gamers.
You mean 11 episodes, right?
I mean 4
There's 11 episodes, right?
There are 12 episodes.
I don't remember. What are you talking about?
And, oh boy, I cannot wait for Brandon to cover this 12th episode.
Fucking douche.
All right. Time to take him out of the old comfort zone. But also kind of right into the comfort zone because it deals with a lot with DLC, so...
You're just really going to ride me this whole episode, aren't you?
Oh, only on that one.
Yeah, you're a monster. All right. So we're on episode 9. Yeah. Do we have any pre-show business?
No, not really. We could just say if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, the Rapid Kick Media channel. That's where you're hearing this at. On there, if you are on any audio spot, which we are on Podbean now.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're on Podbean. So if you're a Podbean listener,
I gotta say I don't know what that is, and I feel bad.
It's one of the nice podcast places.
Oh, okay.
Lots of listeners there. So if you guys are hearing us there,
hi Beans.
We just got up. Put us a 5-star.
Hello, my beans. I sure do love you, pod beans.
I'm glad you do. I don't care where you are. I love all of you.
Well,
just leave us some 5 stars.
Yo, okay. Way to high road me, jackass. Fucking douche.
Okay, I think so. We got that out of the way. We just get straight into
all right. Episode 9.
Gamers. Episode 9. Chiaki Hishinomori and Account Hack.
This one was
kind of boring.
You thought it was boring, yeah?
Yeah.
It had some cool moments, I thought, but yeah, I don't know. We were discussing before the show, and these last 4 were like kind of...
It was the weakest block that we've done, I felt.
You think?
Yeah.
I will say that
it did have good moments.
Episode 10 had one of my favorite moments of the whole show, but
yeah, it had good moments.
Let's get into it.
It just was not the rest of it.
This one, episode 9, starts with Chiaki on her game website. Her, what was it called? Chiaki's, Nobe's game room or something.
Like yeah, Nobody's game room.
Super cool. Reading over some comments and whatnot. Most of the comments are fairly harsh. One person likes them. One person leaves a really nice comment, who we now know is actually Amino. And Chiaki has a brief conversation with her sister Konoha, where she's like, she gets really meta.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, she says it's not fair to build up surprises like that. If all of a sudden someone comes, like, you spend the whole time, if a character spends the whole time in the movie or manga or whatever she's talking about, I think she was talking about manga specifically, hating this person and then sees them and doing something nice that suddenly changes their mind. I mean, it's not real. It's just her heartstrings getting pulled, right? Like, she's really indignant about the fact that she is living a trope. Like, It's fucking great.
And these last few episodes, they definitely, that test that you mentioned last week, I can't remember what it's called.
Bechdel.
Yeah, it definitely does not pass that test.
No, it's all about dudes. It's all about even when the girls are talking about dudes. Hey man, again, not a great. Not the perfect, metric by which to measure your shit, but a good. Good thing to use.
I could see people, like, this isn't trying to be offensive or anything.
No,
like
of course
that.
not. But yeah, it. So yeah, Konoha tries to like chill her out, tells her, hey, he's probably just being a jerk, like, screw that guy. And Chiaki just immediately defends him because despite her, tropey and to herself absurd feelings, this is still her biggest fan, and like she can't help but defend him. So she's very
literally
she's
the
torn.
only person that likes her damn game.
She's clearly torn. She tries to type a message to Yamo later, can't bring herself to hit send. So she goes in, she's like going out, she's gonna go get like one of her game magazines because she saw one of her magazines, like an old one, and she goes to talk to her sister to see if she needs anything, and her sister Konoha answers the door and she is sweating profusely. I wrote down probably doing some pervy shit because come on, we know what she's into.
Flicking the pod bean.
I was wondering how long it would take one of us to say that. I'm glad it wasn't me. Well, I love you, my beans. But yeah, Chiaki's kind of like, hey, I'm going to the store. Do you want anything? Oh yeah, give me a thing, blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, Chiaki ends up, or Konoha ends up like pushing her out of the door. She also asks if she can use her computer to watch a video because, you know, hers is so shitty. I'm like, Konoha, you being weird again. But whatever. So Chiaki heads over to the Friend Mart, which is the best name for a corner store ever. Mm-hmm. The Friend Mart. She gets a game magazine. Amino shows up, like randomly kind of staring at her through the window and freaks her out. And then they chat for a little bit. He talks about how he thinks he left his transit pass at her place after the game night thing we saw in the previous episode. And he tried to call her, but her phone's dead. And he's like, yeah, I mean, don't you play games? I mean, who lets their phone die? And she's like, oh, I usually charge it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, they're kind of just talking shit about each other for a little bit.
He had his face like mashed to the glass too. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, they end up walking back to her place and they're talking. And Amino's like, she's like, why do you even need your transit pass? You going somewhere? He's like, well, and he's like talking about still being weird, not knowing how to go about dates and whatnot. But he wants to go somewhere with Tendo. And he says he's trying to find his backbone, which I think is a much nicer way of saying sack up. Mm-hmm. We had last week after we recorded. They didn't say
sack up at all.
They didn't, and I was hoping they would, but no, they didn't say sack up at all. We had a really great conversation after we finished recording about sack up because, Roger, you've never heard until this show the term sack up.
I have not.
I can't believe that. That's so crazy to me.
So I thought that was something really special that the show came up with.
So, no, but it's a thing. Like, we went out like nut up or shut up, like sack up, man up, etc., etc. So we're sitting there, me, Roger, and Roger's girlfriend, Kat, and we're having a conversation about sack up, the term. And I made a joke that I'm certain I heard on some comedy show at some point before that, like, balls are so fragile, the phrase should be pussy up because those things can take a pounding. Ha ha, that's the joke. To which your girlfriend says one of the funniest things I've ever fucking heard in my life. She says, oh yeah, they take a licking and keep on ticking. And I almost died, Roger. And you apparently did not find it so funny.
I thought
it was great.
I hate that damn word, dude.
Then again, yeah, this is Roger who cannot bring himself to say pussy.
It's a gross word.
You're a gross word. Is it worse than moist?
No. Oh yes, it's worse.
It's worse than moist?
Yeah, man, I like things that are moist.
Moist.
A nice moist cake.
Moist.
A nice moist pie.
Moist. You sound like The Rock now. Some moist pie. Come on.
Moist pie.
You sound like mid-90s Rock. All right.
Poontang pie, dude.
The worst. Anyway, they end up, they're going back to Chiaki's place so he can find his transit pass and his whatnot. They talk about when they first spoke to each other. Amino says it was really easy to talk to her because she was just enjoying her game, and he felt like, it was easier because they were kind of alike. He does make the point that game did end up being the thing that ruined them for each other. And she says, yeah, well, it was kind of weird being talked to by a random creeper, and he like takes offense to that. He's like, oh no, you shot me down. Oh,
yeah, it was like a critical hit. You took away my small victory.
Yeah, his tiny victory.
Yeah,
it was pretty great. But they get back to her place. Amino says, oh, I'll just take the pass and go. But Chiaki wants him to stick around. She actually sees it like right there on the counter and like grabs it so he doesn't see it.
Yeah, she starts getting kind of weird.
She's trying to keep him around.
Trying to lure him into the house.
Maybe you stick around for a little bit. And then he like looks out the window and sees her like underwear hanging up. And she's like, don't look at my panties. And he's like, maybe I'll just go. And she's like, no, go ahead and look at him. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, she's like, you know what? Look at my underwear all you want.
It's fucking weird. Really weird. Anyway.
And he was just trying to tell her that, hey, it's starting to rain outside.
Yeah, well, that was just after. So Chiaki goes to her room, plugs in her phone, turns it on, sees she's got a message on the game from Suchi, who we know is Amino, or who we know is Keita. And right as she's standing there next to her computer holding her phone, she's like, oh, Keita. And she goes to put down her phone, and he shows up to the door to say, hey, it's starting to rain, bring in your laundry. I wrote down, at which point all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
Because she puts down her phone, which nudges the mouse on her PC, revealing her website, Nobe's game room. So he's going to know she's Nobe. She then like freaks out and like tries to close it real quick, throws her phone across the room where it lands directly at his feet. So she's going to see the game and know she's Mono. And he does. He sees all of this. He sees everything.
You know what I was really hoping would happen in this scene?
What's that?
Her sister used her computer, so I was hoping that
it would be like some kind of hit
yeah,
porn
it was
or something.
going to be the booby game that popped up.
That'd be so good.
That would have been.
That's what I thought was going to happen too.
And they refer to it as booby games later on.
They do say booby games. They do say booby games and hentai games. It's pretty great. But yeah,
I was hoping that's what was going. That's where we were going, but it was.
Yeah, I was hoping that would happen too, honestly. I was hoping like she'd nudge it and there'd be like, you know, some horrible or some goofy porn there. Anyway, he sees all this. He's like, what's going on? Nobe, Mono, wait a minute. And she starts to confess. And then her sister, who apparently fell asleep in her bed, in Chiaki's bed with her laptop because, wakes up and is like, oh, I'm awake. And Chiaki's like, yeah, it's all hers. It's my sister Konoha. And it's like, wait. I'm like, God damn it, Chiaki. Like, once again, if you damn kids would just be honest, you could avoid so much bullshit. So then there's the break. We come back, and it's afterwards. Amino's having a little cheeseburger with Uehara.
A little cheeseburger.
Yeah, eating a little cheeseburger. And he seems really chill.
That cheeseburger looked good. I don't know why.
It did look like a tasty burger.
Yeah. I immediately got hungry, so at that point, I paused.
And went and got a veggie burger?
I did not get a veggie burger. I went and got some Pop-Tarts.
Nice. That's not a cheeseburger at all.
No, but it was
How you gonna whip a little ass if you don't eat no little cheeseburger?
Well, I don't eat little cheeseburgers.
You're a fool. Eat a little veggie burger.
Yeah, I do eat a little veggie burger, but
With
I also
cheese?
eat a little Pop-Tart.
A little Pop-Tart. All right.
Wild berry.
But yeah, he's explaining like everything that went down just before to Uehara, and he seems really chill about the quote-unquote reveal. And it cuts back, like a little flashback there, that Chiaki made him stick around. Eventually, she properly introduces her sister. And he says it was like talking to dating sim characters, but like not a good dating sim. Like it was clearly rehearsed.
Yeah.
Like she ran off, like said, okay, here's what's happening. I lied about thing. It's a real Three's Company like thing. Like they're trying to fool Mr. Roper. It was real goofy. But it was clearly rehearsed. And Amano actually says it's weird that because he knows he's such a big fan of Nobe and Mono, like they're such good friends to him, even though they've never met in real life. But he says when he looks at Konoha, who he believes is them, he doesn't see a programmer or his raid buddy, just some girl. And he says, I know I'm being contrary and dumb and sexist about it, but I just don't know. And it's like, all right, yeah, that is kind of weird, but whatever. But also, he knows that it's not actually her. We know it's not actually her.
In an awkward fashion is, I can tell that it's not her.
I don't know, but I don't know if that's what he's trying to say. I think that's
just
weird.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a weird. He finds himself in a weird situation, and rightly so. It is a weird situation he's in. Uehara wants to tell the truth, but doesn't want to drop the truth bomb himself because it's not his place. Like now he has a conscience.
Yeah.
Like you were so instrumental in so much of this.
He got a little annoying in these last couple episodes.
He went full bitch mode now. No, that's terrible. He just kind of
the hell up, dude.
He needs to sack up. Wow. Needs to pussy up, bro. Say it.
I'm not saying
Say it. Say it, coward.
I will say vagina or vagine or vagoo.
Stop. Too much.
Shoot your vagoo, my dude.
That's not how that goes. That's not how that saying goes, you monster. Anyway. But yeah, he says it's not my place. Someone, blah, blah, blah. He actually says something's got to give, which is just a really great movie, I've heard. But yeah, and then he says, as he gets up to leave, he says, man, even if things work out for you, Nintendo, I still can't be happy about it. And Amino's like, what? And he's like, nothing. I got to get to work. And he just takes off. And Amino then is like, as he's walking home, I guess, he's like, kind of weirded out. He's like, man, why did he even say that about if things work out with me and Nintendo? What does that mean? Is he really still going after her, or what's going on? And then he accidentally gets it right once again. He says, or does he mean that there's someone else who likes me and he's rooting for them? Nah, that's ridiculous. Like, Dude, you keep getting it right and then laughing it off because you're an idiot. Ugh. He says, yeah, right. But he ends up at the game store, right back to the sim games, the dating sims, and he picks up one called Moonstay, which has some, relatively cutesy art on it. And he goes to buy it, and who should drop the exact same game for PC instead of PZ4 onto the counter?
He was getting it for the PZ Vita, dude.
Oh, he was getting it for the Vita, excuse me. The PZ Vita.
Is it PC?
The
PZ
the
Vita?
PZP.
Yeah, it's PZ.
Excuse you. The PZP.
I thought
which again
I thought
is
there
my
was
new
something
rap name.
after it. Like
I don't
maybe
know,
it was
maybe.
Viva. I don't remember.
The PZ Viva. It probably was something goofy like that. But yeah, they it's Konoha who's buying the exact same game, like puts it on the counter at the same time, which is pretty great. And then they have a brief talk outside where like she's like basically asking him, hey, don't tell my sister that I'm playing these kind of games. He's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then they try to have a little conversation where he's like asking about Nobe and Mono since that's her, or so he believes. And she's like really flustered and freaking out. And she says, no. Well, she clearly is making it clear that she doesn't care for him.
She blames it on having a split personality.
Yes, she says Nobe and Mono are cool with you even if I'm not. And he's like, you got some multiple personalities going on up there? And she says, yeah, let's go with that until I figure it out. Well, figure out what? Figure out what I mean. Don't worry about it. But then she says, well, what do you think of my sister? And he's like, well, I don't think about her really. He says, well, what do you think about Nobe and Mono? And he says, oh, well, it's really weird that you keep referring to them like that because they're you, but I am really in love with your work. And she like gets really flustered because it seems like she actually is into him for a second. And then she says, look, I know this sounds weird, but I really need to punch you right now. And she does. She just punches the shit out.
Yeah, she just punches him.
It's really goofy. Like it's the classic, like I'm flustered, so I need to hit you and run away kind of thing. But whatever. They end up meeting up with Chiaki. They talk for a little bit, blah, 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 this and that about games. And he almost let slip that Konoha was there buying dating sim games like he was. Mm-hmm. And then Chiaki gets a phone call, and it's Uehara, who she finishes talking to, and apparently it sounds like by what she says that he just confessed. He says, I choose you, so just deal with it, all right, is what she says he said. And I'm like, what is even happening now? Like, I haven't put together at this point that he's talking about, like, having her back in the whole, like, war over...
You hadn't figured that out?
No, not really. I mean, I did very quickly afterwards, but it was just really goofy in the moment. And I was like, what? I thought maybe, like, it was going to turn out he was talking to someone else and, like, butt dialed or something. I don't know. It was just weird. It's just a weird way to say this. It's all a weird way to say everything. No one understands anyone, and they all need to sit down and talk, which they did, and things were fine, and now they're ruining it again. And it's just dumb. Wrote down these damn kids. And also, Tendo wasn't even in this one, but she was in the bikini shot.
It missed a good bit of characters. Like, Aguri wasn't there, too.
Aguri wasn't in this one. Tendo wasn't in this one. I did write down there's a new ending on this episode. So, yeah, these last four have different endings. Did not like that song. You didn't like it?
No, I thought it was okay. I thought it was really mundane.
I thought it was okay. So this one was a big disappointment for Roger. He did not care for it.
Yeah, it was just kind of a more boring episode.
I mean, they can't all be hits, dude.
I know, dude. I was just right on that high of
they can't.
Thank you for this boon.
Stupid. Goof.
Waiting for that to pop up again.
Goofy.
Did not happen here.
You're the worst. All right.
Episode 10. Gamers
Episode 10.
And Next Stage.
Yeah. So this one. Where does this one even start? Amino is talking to Aguri. Inviting her to the game meetup because after that whole thing at the end, he, like everyone else, is assuming that Uehara really is cheating on her. So she like refuses over and over and over again. Eventually, she does in fact concede because they're at the cafe again. She does eventually agree to go to the game meetup when he gives her his dessert, which is pretty great. But then we're back to Chiaki and her sister hanging out with Amino. And Chiaki in the moment seems really nonplussed about the whole thing, like the quote-unquote confession. But she's kind of okay with it because she obviously was into Uehara and still is, I guess. Like, yeah, he's a handsome dude. Mm-hmm. Konoha hates this guy and says she'll punch him out. I mean, isn't he already taken? Like, what's he doing coming around you, trying to start some shit, etc., etc. And then we get to what is easily maybe my favorite scene of this show. For sure this episode, for sure of these 4 episodes, maybe my favorite scene of the show, where Amano calls up Tendo to get some advice on how to reject someone. He says, hey, if you need to reject him, then we need to get someone who knows how to do this, and he calls up Tendo. She, of course, thinks that she's getting rejected because he just asked, hey, I need some advice on how to reject someone. What are you talking about? And she says, I can't believe you're asking me for help with this. It's just cruel. Dudley from Street Fighter is there for some reason. And he said, like, she's really distraught on the phone. And he says, you sound like you just got punched out. Like, what's going on? And she's like, I may as well have been. I'm so distraught. This is the most cruel thing ever. And Amado says, well, I'll come there and help. What are you talking about? You'll help me. Weren't you just? And he says, no, what guy wouldn't want to rescue his beloved girlfriend? And then there's like a gasp, and it sounds like she dropped something over the phone. And then she just gets really quiet. And then Amano's like, hey, are you okay? And she just says, the eagle has landed. Which, okay, I'm not 100% sure what happened right then, but it sure as fuck sounded like Tendo just, like, flooded her basement. Like...
What does that mean?
What do you think that means?
Flooded her basement?
It sounded like she just, like... She had a moment when he said... when he said he was gonna...
A moment, like...
Look... It was fucking weird. And then she just gets real quiet. I watched it on the dub too, and she doesn't say the eagle has landed, obviously. She says received. She says itadakimasu, which has different meanings depending on if you're eating or, you know, just talking to someone.
Wait, what?
You not know itadakimasu or whatever?
No.
That's the thing. Okay. So here's like the one thing I know about the Japanese language. Like so that's the thing, whenever you see someone like in an anime or in a show or in anything and they're about to eat, they always do before they eat, they like do one of these and say itadakimasu, which is like,
okay, yeah,
it's like thanks for the food, or, you know, it's time to eat, that kind of thing. Whereas in like normal conversation, it would mean like, I receive that, or I humbly accept, or something like that.
So what does that have to do with flooding the basement?
It sounded an awful lot like she came. Like she stops and just like when he says, of course, like he is for like the first time, like that she really notices he's taking a genuine interest in her and saying, I'm gonna, why wouldn't I help you? My beloved girlfriend. And she just like stops and gasps. And then she's just like, the eagle has landed. Is what she says. It's like real. Hey, man, I didn't come up with it, but he's like, "Are you okay?"
I just want to clarify that I knew what flooding the basement.
Yeah, you're
was.
a monster. You're a monster, and you wanted to hear me say it. You're a monster. But yeah, that's what it sounded like happened, and I thought it was goofy. Maybe you didn't get it because you haven't heard a lot of female orgasms. Anyway,
that would be true.
Oh no, Roger. Oh no. But yeah, he asks, "Are you okay? What was that? What are you talking about, eagles?" And she says, "No, I'm fine. No, I'm better than fine. I'm excellent." And she's like, "Hey, Amano, yeah, I love you," and then hangs up. It's a very cute moment.
Yeah.
And then he sits down. He sits down and he says, "Man, what did I ever do to deserve such a cute girlfriend?" And then Konoha freaks out and she's like, "What? How the fuck does that help my sister? Like, you totally missed the point." It was so good.
He catered it up, dude.
He totally did. I really enjoyed that scene. But yeah, Amano basically at that point decides, like exactly what Uehara decided earlier in the series, that he needs to get everyone to the game meetup so they can bring this up and talk this out.
Yeah, but Uehara's was more devious than...
Yeah, but it also worked.
Yeah, that's true.
But he says we need to get everyone together and just not leave until it's all figured out. And they get there. They get to the gamer meetup. That's why I was inviting Aguri to it earlier. They're at the gamer meetup. They're all sitting there. They're all having a chat. And he can't bring himself to bring up the quote-unquote Uehara thing. Instead, starts talking about the new Space Ocean game.
Yeah. which is Star Ocean.
Clearly Star Ocean.
That one even says Space Ocean, the second story.
Yeah, and it's literally like the cover from Star Ocean.
I have Star Ocean right there. It's Star Ocean, the second story.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. I knew I saw that game in that little marquee thing.
No, that was a different game. That was definitely a different game, though.
Oh, I think I saw the art for Space Ocean in there.
Maybe. But yeah, it was...
I also saw like Valkyrie profile and stuff like that, too.
Well, yeah, for sure.
There's a bunch of them in there.
But yeah, he starts talking about it and talking about how, I was going to get this game and he's going to run out as soon as school's over because he didn't pre-order it. And they're just chatting about this Space Ocean game. And he totally just misses his entire chance to like actually resolve something. So we cut back after all that went down, back at Chiaki's place. And Konoha's like, hey, how'd it go? And he's like, he totally catered it up. And like nothing came of it. But Konoha like kind of lays it out for her and says, "Look, you need to figure out what you want. Like, do you actually clearly you're into this Amino guy. Like, do you want to get closer to him, or do you want to just keep arguing with him, or do you just want to be rid of him for good?" And Chiaki doesn't know.
Yeah,
and it's like kind of a huge wake up call for her. Like, think about your shit, figure it out. Like, what's really going on? Do you just want to be friends, or are you actually interested in him? Which I was like, damn, for once, someone actually has some insight into this whole situation. And of course, it's the weirdo who plays all the hentai games.
Yeah, it smells the chairs and...
Sniffing on chairs. No time for chair humping. That was a great quote. But yeah, so next day, Uehara is going to see Chiaki after school because he thinks he's the only one who knows that, she's conflicted about all this. Obviously, a lot of people know and are worried about her and whatnot. But he runs off to go see her, and she's kind of freaked out because she still thinks that he's in love with her or whatever and cheating on Aguri. And, everyone's just dumb. They're all just dumb. Mm-hmm. But, he wants her to know that he's on her side with this whole thing. That if Amino's going to end up with someone, he would rather it be Chiaki because he's basically shipping them now.
Yeah,
it's real goofy. But Tendo swoops in while they're standing there misunderstanding each other and basically just asks if they can help her with something. And then we cut to Aguri, who's meeting up with a old friend of hers, I guess from middle school, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's got a picture of Aguri when she was in middle school and still had her black hair and was a total wallflower type. But she's there with a couple of dudes, a couple of rando guys, she calls them. And Aguri's clearly uncomfortable. They make a bunch of insults about that nerd group that she's been hanging with. And then finally she's just you know what? I'd rather hang out with those nerds than any of you losers. So bye. And she just fucking bails.
Yeah,
and
those
good
guys
on her.
Douches.
They were complete douches.
This scene really made me like Aguri a whole lot.
Yeah, I thought this was some good character development.
This was a good scene.
I really enjoyed this one. So she excuses herself and leaves. Aguri's friend tries to bring her back and says accuses her of being a white knight for a bunch of mouth breathers, which I was like, Jesus Christ. So Aguri finally leaves, calls up Tosco, but he doesn't pick up.
What was her name? Serena or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was Serena or something like that.
She sucked.
Yeah, there was a bunch of douchey people
I really liked
hanging out that cafe.
Because Aguri went to bat for, if anybody, Amino.
Yeah, it was really good. She already said she thinks of Amino as her little brother. She keeps calling him a cinnamon roll. They're all cinnamon rolls. I thought that was cute. But, she calls up Tosco, she calls up Uehara, but he doesn't pick up. He's still hanging out with Chiaki and Tendo, and Tendo's talking about how, she's clearly, so totally into Amino, and she's so happy that, they're, dating and together, but hasn't got to hang out with him very much lately, particularly today, since he bailed as soon as school was over to go try to get that game, and no one's seen him since. And the other two both reassure that, hey, that's just how he is. Sometimes he puts games first when he should be leveling up other ways. And is what I think Chiaki is the one who says that. Or maybe it was Uehara. One of them says that. But finally Uehara says, look, he grabs them both on the shoulder. He says, let's just call a timeout on relationship talk. Can we please? And right in that second when he's got his hands on both of these hot ladies, is when Aguri runs into him, and she's just And she just screams and runs the opposite direction. And now we have Aguri running away while Uehara chases her, while Tendo and Chiaki chase him.
Yeah, the running animation for this was really good.
It's
too.
really
It's
great.
funny.
Like, it was so silly.
Their arms were doing this number. I know you can't hear this, but
Yeah, they're like just twisting like
Yeah,
as they're
back
taking
and forth.
off. It's really great. And Aguri, as she's running, screams, "I didn't think you were cheating on me with both of them." And then Tendo's like, "No, I only like Amino. As far as I'm concerned, Uehara is just an NPC who loaded wrong and it's just teeth, hair, and eyes." And Chiaki says, "I second that. I'm way past when I used to think Uehara was cute." And then Uehara's just like, "Yeah, thanks, but it kind of sounds like you're busting my chops." And then both of them scream, "Nobody asked for your opinion, cheater." So, like, it's so dumb. And then Aguri once again is just like, "Oh, my boyfriend's being called a cheater by the girl he's cheating on with me with." Like, it's so fucking goofy. And they're just chasing each other, and she whips out her phone and like dials up Amino's number and is like, save me, Amino, save me. And they finally end up like stopping at that same game arcade, and Amino shows up like after they all calm down and all like kind of figure out no one's cheating on anyone, blah blah blah. They all calm down. Amino shows up because he got Aguri's call, and he's like, "Oh, I thought you were in trouble," and like they're like all up on like they're on each other, like, you know, because he came to watch out for her. Meanwhile, and this is a really interesting thing because everyone like was just talking about how he puts games before anyone else, but here he has dropped his search for the Space Ocean game that he still doesn't have. He says to come help Aguri because she was in trouble. He thought, and everyone just stands there going, like they clearly feel like these two are like so.
You can't be fucking friends in this anime, dude.
Clearly not.
You cannot be friends.
You can't just be friends.
That's
it's not
what
possible.
I think was starting to like. I was like, okay, this is getting to be a bit much.
But you can't.
Because you literally cannot be anybody's friend. In this
you certainly
anime.
can't be friends with someone of the opposite sex, particularly when like the person that you're talking about like is supposed to be your significant other. Like, yeah, I mean, there's a healthy, unhealthy amount of jealousy in this thing. In this episode, in these episodes, in this whole show. But yeah, they clearly no one's comfortable with anyone. And like, meanwhile, the only one who like at this point could legitimately be called a homewrecker is Chiaki, because she does appear to be into Amino. And yet like even the characters in the show are sympathizing with her, like Uehara. It's really wild. But yeah, that's the end of that episode. We get another Tendo bikini shot, this time with a VR headset. Episode 11.
The
The grand finale. Yeah, it's great.
We got one more after 11.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Episode 11, Gamers and Youth Continue.
Yeah. So this one I was telling Roger, there's a part of this one that I read. I did a little bit of research online, and apparently in the light novel series, which I don't know what the difference between that and a manga is, but
A light novel is like a just a book, like a Goosebumps book. I don't know why I went to Goosebumps, but
I don't know why
no
you did
pictures,
either.
dude. It's just a small
okay.
book.
Oh, okay. Whatever. But they talk about, I read a little bit, and apparently in that series things go wildly different when they're at this theme park they end up at. Which,
Yeah, I want to hear these differences. So
I'll tell you about
it.
It sounds fucking amazing. But yeah, so there's some fallout after that last episode. Uehara is walking home, and he's like kind of bummed out because like he just saw Aguri and Amino getting along so well, and that kind of bummed him out. And then he sees Karen just languishing against a wall, like also clearly upset. And they end up walking together for a little while and talk about their significant others. They finally conclude that the two of them probably would be a perfect couple. Like, one of them actually says, or Karen actually says, "I don't think those two cinnamon rolls would cheat on us," but, and Uehara's like, "Yeah, they're."
Where does the term cinnamon roll come from?
Are you not familiar?
Okay, so I am honestly not familiar with cinnamon roll.
It's become a meme, like, in the past few years. I think the first thing I remember seeing was, like, there was a video where this dude was, like, really sad about his girlfriend leaving him, and like made some kind of video where like he was just crying and he's like, "You was my apple cinnamon roll," or something like that. It was real goofy, but like the term cinnamon roll has just come to be like anyone who's super sweet, super cute, like, you know, someone you care for, maybe not in a like relationship way or like sexually, but like someone that like you would care about very deeply.
So like you're my cinnamon roll, dude.
Yeah, bro. I'm your cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
Fuck you. But yeah, it's just like a goofy, like innocent is like would be a good way to describe it. Like an innocent person who you just like care about. Conversely, you could also be a cinnamon roll, cinnamon roll, which is like that but sexy. Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna pull apart which cinnamon roll you are to me, so I'll let the good buddies decide.
Oh, you know.
Maybe we'll get a good dude.
You all
How
know.
great would it be if we had a fanfic wrote about us?
Jesus Christ! Don't do that shit.
Somebody's got to write that.
Don't put that fucking shit out there.
Somebody's got to write that.
Why would you even say that?
Are you saying that you wouldn't read it?
I'm quitting the show. I'm saying I'm quitting the show.
But are you saying that you wouldn't read it?
Man, I probably would, but I wouldn't be happy about it.
I'd be so happy. You're my cinnamon roll,
If
dude.
that shit happens, we'll have a dramatic reading. How about that?
Yeah.
It's gonna
There we
suck.
go.
Oh, no. Please don't make this happen. Anyway. Fuck you, man. Why'd you even put that idea out there? You suck.
It's early on, man.
All
People
right,
might not ever hear this.
Yeah, Uehara says they're not the type of people to like practice deception or whatever. Yeah. And yeah, Karen's like really legitimately bummed out after she saw like how well they got along, and she says, "Well, maybe he's meant to be her boyfriend instead of mine." And Uehara's like, "All right, no, screw that. Just because they're like you know, too innocent and nice doesn't mean we can't get up to some top tier scheming." And Karen's like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
And he's,
"Oh, what are you buying?"
He's like, "Well,
what are you selling?"
"What are you selling?" He's got a plan, and she's like, "Tell me everything." And Uehara suggests that they show the world that they're a couple, like prove it to everybody. We go on a big double date, and we show the world that we're a couple. And Karen like. I wrote down Tendo gets all wiggly because she like falls against a wall in front of her house just going, yes, yes. Like she's so clearly into this idea. Meanwhile, someone, Kanoha, is watching them from across the street, hiding behind a traffic light or something. So then we cut ahead. Amino is getting a phone call from Tendo and inviting him on the double date. And he's like, double date? And he actually says, I don't know, double dates just seem like we're trying to prove something to the world. And once again, he's accidentally very perceptive. Yeah. But she's like, oh, well, if you don't want to go out, I mean, I guess. And he clearly really doesn't want to go, but he wants to be a good boyfriend, and he can't say no to Tendo. So he agrees to go ahead and do this. So you end up at this theme park. Everybody's there. Uehara's with Aguri, and Tendo's with Amino, and they're all at this theme park that's based on some town from some RPG, and Amino and Tendo are just absorbed in the whole thing. They're freaking out. They're running around. Aguri and Uehara are really blasé about it, and I wrote down, I've never felt closer to Uehara because what he said, because Aguri says, I mean, you've played these type of games. Why aren't you nerding out like them? And he actually says, even for a gamer like myself, that level of spaz just gives me the creeps. Which I've never agreed so much with something. Like, I love this shit, but folks that make it their entire thing and freak out like that, like, if I went to a theme park that was based on, like, something I was into and saw people freaking out, I'd be like, alright, it's weird now. Which I know you can't relate to, because you love the shit.
I can't relate to it. You're right.
I know you can't relate to it.
I get super excited, man. I get pumped about stuff.
Okay, let me put it this way.
There's nothing wrong about getting pumped.
How about this one? I enjoy the. Let's go. Let's say, okay, you enjoy Evangelion. You love that show. You love that show. You love it. You enjoy it.
Let's do it.
Let's say you went to, I don't know, some like an Evangelion themed restaurant, and they had like, you know, fucking angel burgers and shit. And you wanted to chill out and eat some there, and you saw someone walk in holding one of those big-ass body pillows with Asuka printed on it. Would you or would you not feel some type of way about that?
I don't think I'd be judgmental towards it. No.
If you saw that dude sit at the table next to you and he's feeding his Asuka body pillow.
Okay.
This is the game that Roger loves. Is like push it until it breaks.
I would at that point. I would still be trying to not be judgmental.
You would focus on your veggie angel burger, and you would try to not look, but you would feel a way. That would weird you out.
Well, yeah. But that's taking
and no offense to folks that do that shit.
There's a difference between really enjoying it and being a fan and taking it too far.
That's what I'm saying.
And I don't think they were taking it too far. They were getting geeked out about the game.
They were geeking out real hard. I'm just saying.
If I was in an Evangelion themed restaurant and there was all this stuff around, there's like Unit 1 and stuff hanging off the wall, roaring out at you.
And the number 1 is called the Unit 1.
All the waitresses are dressed up in plug suits and stuff like that. I'd be so pumped. I would be all about it,
But then you look over and see that dude sitting at the table right next to you, sharing a booth. You're sharing a booth now with a dude who's feeding an Asuka body pillow. What do they call it? Dakimura or whatever? He's feeding one of those. It's like it's got like, juice from her Ray soup dripping down it. It's called Ray soup because she turns into goo.
I would try not to be judgmental, but I would still be overall geeking out because I'm at the place.
Right. I'm just saying,
super
like,
duper cool.
That's the point I'm getting at. Is like there's at a certain point it's freaky deaky, and don't get me wrong, I would certainly be judging that person, but also I would admit that person's way more honest with themselves than I am. Yeah. So there's a certain value to that, but also fuck, dude.
I don't think they were doing anything.
I don't think they were doing that.
That scene was not at that level.
I'm saying that we just played a game that you love to play, where you try to push it as far. How far can you take it?
I would still not try to be judgmental.
Right. Yeah, all right.
I would.
All right.
I would probably feel bad for him. I wouldn't be freaked out. I would feel bad. Like this.
They're having a great time. What do you mean you feel bad?
This lonely fuck right here.
Why are you feeling bad for him? That dude's having a great time. He's on a date with his waifu.
He's got his Asuka throw pillow. I've got I have an Asuka throw blanket right here.
There. I'm looking right at it.
And I'll tell you what I do with it. I sit on it.
That's what you're into.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It goes on my couch. It's my Evangelion couch.
Oh no.
And then sometimes I have a friend over and we play video games for my Let's Play 2 Dudes 1 Couch, and we both sit on it.
Oh no. It used to hang on the ceiling above your bed so you can look at it while you were laying there.
It's a great piece of art.
Yeah. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I love it.
Anyway, but yeah, Uehara says, even for a gamer like me, that level of spaz gives me the creeps. And Aguri responds, oh, thank God. I thought it was just like super cool and I didn't get it. I was missing out on something. So they keep on going about it, and Aguri actually tells Uehara, man, I already want to ditch them, but they don't. Apparently, Amino earlier that day had a big had like a mini nervous breakdown when he was talking to Aguri back at the cafe before they left for the theme park, because like he actually, I think, I forget exactly how he says it, but he was freaking out because no, it's totally cool. You know, my girlfriend and the dude that that I'm pretty sure is still super into her just want to go out together with us and like make a big scene of it. It's totally great. No, I couldn't feel any worse because this is already the worst possible thing that could happen. Game over, man. Game over. Like, he's really freaking out.
Yeah, but he's also going over the breakfast menu.
He is. He's looking at the breakfast menu and trying to hide his horrible anxiety.
Which looks like a pretty decent breakfast.
They had eggs and everything, yeah. But, yeah, Aguri and Amino still think that those two like each other. And they're also, like, remember Karen and Uehara, like, scheming this whole time on, like, how to make sure that they, you know, make a big impression, like, on their significant others and whatnot to prove that they like them. And they're like walking together while Amino and Aguri are walking behind them, like sulking kind of. And it's like not painting the good picture, guys. Like, you really just need to focus up instead of like scheming, but
sack up.
Whatever. So
sack up.
Yeah, they need to sack up, bro. They need no, I'm not going to say it.
Well, no, you kind of have to, dude.
I think you have to.
Well, tell me and I'll say it.
Pussy up.
No.
The worst. Anyway, so they go about it. Friggin' Karen and Tosku are Tendo and Uehara rather I mean, they all have first and last names. They're like communicating with like blink signals instead of actually talking because, they don't want to, make it look like they're talking to each other, even though they are. And they decide they're going to start up their charm offensive. And this is the first of like 3 different times that Tasuku tries to hold Aguri's hand and then doesn't for whatever reason. But right when they start to do their charm offensive and go to hold everybody to hold their love interest hands, Konoha shows up with a very embarrassed Chiaki in tow.
Yep.
And it turns out earlier Konoha had convinced Chiaki to go to the park, and like she doesn't reveal that she knows the other will be there, but she was in fact watching them when they were talking about it over at Karen's.
She was stalking.
She was stalking them and like saw them and was checking them out and overhearing what they're doing. And she actually, the way she ends up getting Chiaki to go is she says, well, I've got these 2 tickets to the park and blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, if you don't want to go, maybe I'll see if Amina wants to go, blah, 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 blah. And, like, ends up completely just playing her. And she agrees to go. Chiaki's wearing an NCY shirt. I wrote that down because I thought it was funny. Instead of NYC. Yeah. I don't know. Thought it was goofy.
Yeah. Well, her sister tells her to wear the cutest clothes she has.
And that's about as good as it gets, I guess.
Yeah. She comes a t-shirt and like a skirt.
Yeah, she's got like a... was she wearing a skirt or shorts? I don't remember.
It was a skirt.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, she had a little dress thing.
She's like Chiaki's clothes in these few episodes. Like, there's one where she's like wearing shorts and a t-shirt with some like suspenders.
Yeah.
Which really accentuate how much larger her chest is than all the other girls.
Sure.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
That's in episode 12.
I only make a point of this because despite her having large breasts, they never jiggle in this show. It's not that kind of show, which is why this finale with episode 11 I thought was just fine. This last episode, episode 11, I thought was fine.
I can't wait to get to episode 12.
I don't know what you're talking about.
With them Chiaki jiggle physics,
I don't know what you're talking about,
those things are bouncing all over the place.
I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, Konoha had convinced Chiaki to go to the thing. There's a brief montage of park rides as Konoha kind of like forces her and Chiaki's way to like into the group, even though they're like, there's a great scene where like she's showing down with Tendo, and Tendo's like, well, actually we were here on a double date, and Konoha's like, oh, well, gee, that's kind of interesting, seems like you're trying to show off or something. And like they're just going back and forth being really shady and catty with each other, and finally they all end up just hanging out together. Konoha in this little montage of park rides is having a freaking blast. Her hands are in the air and like she just don't care. She's screaming on the rides. Everyone else is either like uneasy, uncomfortable, or just outright distraught over this situation. Like they are not having a good time. Like these pictures are like still frames of them going down a water slide, and Konoha's like, yay, and everybody else just like like really not enjoying it. And I don't know how you make that face on a roller coaster, but they pulled it off.
Yeah, those water slide rides too, like the log rides.
Log flume, yeah, man.
Yeah, those things suck, dude.
I'm fine with them.
They're the worst because
as long
your feet
as,
get all wet and stuff, and then you're walking around for the rest of the day.
You gotta be ready for that. You gotta wear like some flip flops.
Zip-locks on your.
You gotta wear some flip flops or.
I don't wear
like,
fucking flip flops,
well,
dude.
Yeah, you don't wear anything but long pants and fucking boots and shit, and like your goofy Vans or whatever those are.
They're Levi's.
They're Levi's.
They're Levi Vans.
And your fucking Bootio shoes.
Yeah, those are my Shootios.
The Shootios. Those are great.
I used to have some yellow and black checkered Vans. They were my Pika shoes.
Oh my god.
I freaking love those shoes.
Worst. Anyway.
Back on track.
Anyway, they finally end up at this haunted house. And
so spooky.
But yeah, Tendo's like pretty much ready to give up. Uehara with his little eye signals like tells her, no, we won't give up. And they end up going through this thing, and there's a bunch of goofy traps, like steam blowing out of the walls, and like, fake bugs falling from the ceiling, and they're all
electric
like
sword.
Yeah, the electric sword that shocks the crap out of Amino, and they're all like paired off. Chiaki's with her sister, and everyone else is with their significant other and whatnot. And they get to this part where it's like just a dark hallway, and you don't know what's down there. And the voiceover says, "Step forward with that special someone, and let the strength of your bond carry the way." And Uehara and Aguri go through. Again, he starts to hold her hand, but then doesn't. And then Tendo, after they go through, is ready to go, but Konoha just like took Amano and Chiaki and like shoved them through a give up exit and like bailed on them. So Tendo's just standing there by herself. And they end up outside. Chiaki seems kind of.
I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, it was weird. I thought this was weird. And Chiaki's like kind of out of it, and she's like kind of woozy, and she eventually faints and like lands on Amano's chest. She wakes up. Amano had apparently carried her over to a bench, like that's where they're sitting now. And Konoha runs off saying, "Oh, I'll get you some drinks," to leave them alone so they can have some alone time because she's trying to set up her sister and Amano. And they kind of chill for a minute. They talk briefly. Amano gets a call from Tendo. Chiaki, like, as he starts to get up and walk away, Chiaki grabs his arm and stops him.
Yeah.
And she says that she gets really anxious at parks, which, makes sense. That's probably why she fainted. She's not, like, the most outgoing girl, clearly. She's, like, a straight-up introvert. So it makes sense that this freaked her out a little bit, being here at this big park. Like, she was nervous the whole time we saw, like, when they first showed up. But Amano says, "Oh, no, it's fine. I'll stay so you don't freak out." And he says, "Tendo will probably just text me anyway." And she does, and he texts her back, I think. And then Chiaki brings it up. She says, "Well, what do you think of Mono and Nobe?" And Amano says, "Well, they're still important to me. Like, they're still really important to me." And Chiaki just says it. She says, "More important than Tendo?" It's like, damn, girl, you going in, huh?
Yeah, you're asking those hard questions.
You really
man.
trying this shit, huh? You getting serious, huh? And Amano goes on to explain how Tendo means a lot to him, like a whole lot to him. He still can't believe that they're dating, but his friends are really important too. Uehara, Aguri, even you, Chiaki, he says. And none of it would have happened if Tendo hadn't talked to him that one day at the game store. And he says that he's still not sure why she even likes him, that they make a really odd couple. And then, like, when he says, "even you, Chiaki," that's when she kind of, like, relaxes, because, like, it kind of seems like she's realizing maybe I don't have to like him, but we can just be friends, because they're really good. They do make good friends, but she is still super into him. And Konoha comes back, no drinks. Amano's like, "Wait, you said we are gonna get drinks." She's like, "Well, why don't you go get the drinks if you're so damn thirsty?" And he's like, "What? You said you were gonna get drinks?" Like, what the fuck? Anyway,
Konoha's a turd, dude. She's a turd.
Yeah, she's being a little jerk, but still fun. Amano says, "Well, let's meet back up with everyone." Chiaki says, "No, I'll just leave." And she says, "You should spend what's left of the day with your girlfriend." And Amano says, no, he won't let her go because you can't miss the parade. The parade's about to start. There's a big parade, with all the characters from the games and whatnot, and big dragons and shit.
I was in a parade once.
Were you?
Yeah.
What parade?
I don't know. It was one of the local parades.
Was it Pride? Were you at the Pride parade?
No, I mean, that parade looks awesome. I would love to go to it.
I've been once to one, but
I was a child. It was at some Christmas parade. I was dressed up as a present.
Aw.
I was the best kid you could get that year. Everybody wanted me.
Gross. You're the fucking worst. God, you suck. All right. So anyway, they end up meeting back up and going to the parade. Everybody's together. They go to the parade. It's really cool. And this is the end credits roll over them at the parade. And Uehara finally takes Aguri's hand, and she's like, "Hey, what you doing?" And he's like, "Nothing. Hey, you want to get closer?" And like they run up to the front so they can be closer to the parade. Karen seems a little bummed out because she doesn't know why like Amano disappeared or whatever. Although he does explain when they meet back up that she fainted, and everybody's like, "Oh man, are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." But they all go to the parade, and Amano actually offers his hand to her. He like holds it up, and he's like, "Do you want to go up closer too?" And she says, "Yeah, sure. But I'm only holding your hand so you don't get separated or fall or something." And it's like, still trying to play it cool. Like, just, you already told him you loved him. Like, chill out, girl.
Just hold damn hand. But sure enough.
But yeah, he does end up falling. He does end up stepping into like a gutter and straight up falling.
That is like one of my biggest feers too.
To like get your foot stuck in a gutter.
Little grates and stuff like that.
That can be, you could straight up snap your ankle off, dude. Mm-hmm. That would suck. But yeah, they end up running up ahead. Chiaki and Konoha have a moment, and Chiaki actually vows to confess to Amano one day to tell him everything, and that she's gonna win him over, win his heart or something like that. Which is like, okay, yeah, she is still into him, and that's the end of the episode. And I thought it was a great finale. The final bikini shot is Tendo, Chiaki, and Aguri playing video games indoor in bikinis. Tell me why they're doing that. But then they have a great time. It's great.
Before we get to the last episode, the final episode.
What are you talking about? No, let me tell you about how this one was
what's
different.
the light novel difference?
So here's the thing in the light novel that like sounds fucking amazing is that that haunted house scene was apparently very different in the novel in the book. And what happens is you don't just hold hands with the person you like and go through a dark tunnel and your bond keeps you together. What you do is you literally wear like these super dark glasses and you wear these earplugs and you do not know who you're with. Who you're holding hands with as you go through this. You don't know. So, but they figure out, Uehara, I think it said in the book, knows ahead of time, the way they pair you up is by what color clothes you're wearing. So they make sure to match so that they end up with the person they want to go through with. However, because Konoha and Chiaki shows up, you're in a big group, we'll just go full random. So they go full random. So the first couple to go through, let me think for a second, because I read all this last night online and I can't exactly remember. But I remember let's see. I think it was, let me see if I can just find it real quick.
Okay.
So I know for sure one of the couples, I'm not going to be able to find it. It's going to take too long to find that article anyway. One of the couples was Uehara and Konoha, I believe, are the two that go in.
Okay.
Yeah. And Uehara isn't sure who he's holding hands with, but he knows they're shorter than him. He knows their hands are smaller. He thinks that he ended up getting paired with...
Aguri.
No.
Oh.
He thinks he got paired with Amano.
Oh,
so
okay.
He's like... Meanwhile, Konoha thinks she got paired with Amano. So apparently in the books, Konoha is like way more into Amano than in here.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like really flirting with him and like kind of bumping into him and shit. And Uehara's all freaked out because like, why is Amano hitting on me? This is so weird. And they get through and then realize, okay, whatever. Then the other couple is, it was Tendo and Chiaki, who like have a similar thing where it's like they I can't remember exactly who they thought each other was, but it gets really awkward really fast. Meanwhile, final couple, and as this happens, apparently, you finish the thing, and then there's like a thing where you can see like who's in there still. And so the final couple, of course, is Amano and Aguri, who each think, Amano thinks he's with Tendo, Aguri thinks she's with Uehara, and as they're going through and everyone's watching, they kiss. Which just, let's throw some more kerosene on that fucking bonfire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah, that does sound good.
And I'm kind of bummed that they didn't do that. But also, like that same article was saying, there's actually a pretty good chance that we end up with a season 2 of this show, which I kind of hope we do because I want to see like what ends up happening next.
Yeah,
but
I'll
also,
watch the season 2.
But also, if there wasn't going to be a season 2, it's a really hard way to end the series.
Sure.
With
That
like
makes perfect sense.
so much more. Like this one, there's still some, like all the couples end up together, except, Chiaki's the odd girl out, but she's the only one. Whereas if it had ended like that, holy shit, you can't end it like that. That's way too much, like, confusion and shit. Like, everyone's going to be scared about everything.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they changed it for this if there's not going to be a season 2.
Sure,
so
yeah.
We'll see what happens. I'm kind of down for a season 2. That's how the series ends, and it was great.
All right. Episode 12.
The
Gamers.
what?
Gamers and billing system talk.
There's a what?
There's an extra.
Wait, there's a
episode.
what? This is not an actual episode. This is an Elseworlds. This is DLC is what this is.
It is the same. It is canon.
It is not. That's the thing. I don't think it is.
It is canon, dude.
It's actually, that same article was saying like a lot of people are considering that this episode isn't canon because it doesn't really happen like this in like the books or anything. It doesn't make sense. No, I really look. All right, this is like a huge fan service episode.
Okay, I will agree that this episode right here it's like an OVA or something. It's an extra.
It is. But no, that's the thing.
But it progresses the storyline. It follows the same timeline.
It doesn't really progress the story at all.
Same timeline.
No. I'm not disagreeing. I am saying that it's a straight up fan servicey bullshit episode.
It sure is.
But specifically, and here's the excuse I'm giving them for being so fan servicey. Specifically in that hot spring scene where it is extra fan servicey, they are specifically talking about different types of DLC. What kind of DLC would you want? That whole scene starts with Uehara about to say, "Oh yeah, swimsuits," and then it cuts before he does. "I want to see all the girls get," and then it cuts to all the girls getting naked. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the point. This is not, I don't think this is canonical. This is legitimately them like throwing out a DLC goof episode because that's what everyone wanted. It's not, I don't think it like legit
I would
makes
say
any
it still
sense in the
falls,
story.
it's like, it's not a parallel timeline or something.
Well, okay, well it starts with Masumi's backstory. Masumi Ichi.
So canon.
No. So it starts with the episode. So what's the name of the episode?
Let's get to the jiggle
What's the name
physics.
of the episode, Roger? What's the name of the episode? Gamers and Billing.
Billing System Talk.
Billing System Talk. So this one opens with Masumi, the game, the puzzle
Get ready,
game
guys.
boy.
This is going to be great.
Stop, you're a monster. And it says the title of the episode is Masumi Ichi and Inflation Battle, which, weird. But it's his backstory, and he's like walking down the street in like a trench coat. These mean streets, they're not for everybody. Like that kind of shit. 3 years ago, Masumi awoke sitting at a puzzle game, completely nude in an arcade, and he leaves, finds something to wrap himself up with, and as he's heading home, he sees a girl getting attacked by some thugs and takes him out real quick and saves her. And then he ends up getting adopted as recompense for that by the girl's family. Because he's just a boy and he's got nowhere to go, and oh my god, he doesn't even have clothes. This poor kid, he's like homeless and he doesn't have a memory. So they end up adopting him. The girl we find out is named Riki. She is still pursued by that covert organization, and I vaguely remember them messing with me too. Like you see a clip where like it appears like they fucked with his head, and that's why his memory's all gone. Then he ends up joining the game club, and he's now in the Total Video Game Tournament, the TVGT. And he's got one match to go before the finals. Before the finals. What the fuck, Brandon? Before the finals. And he's tested for this moment. He's ready to go. And his opponent is his sister Riki. Whoa, what a twist. And they run at each other and they're gonna fight. And then that's it. That's the opening. It's so fucking goofy. I love it.
There's your canon backstory. Canon.
Stupid. You're stupid and I hate you.
Now let's get into the jiggle physics.
So the game meetup group is going on a trip. They're all on it like a train or bus or something, traveling. And Karen makes a point to say, hey, we're all going to be in separate rooms, no flirting, blah, blah, blah. We have to, like, you know, we can't betray our parents' trust and whatnot, so let's all be chill. To which I think Uehara mentions, yeah, you're talking about no flirting, but you're all dolled up with all your, you know, jewelry and makeup and whatnot. And she says, it's called accessorizing. Everyone does it. And Chiaki's just like,
I think that's where she's in the shorts and the suspenders.
She's in like the suspenders and whatnot. So while they're there, Aguri and Amano actually have a brief moment where they're like at this little hot spring soaking their feet, and Amano, like, it's way too hot for his little tootsies. So he freaks out, and Aguri's like, oh, wow, is it too hot for you? And he's like, yeah, whatever. And like they start splashing each other and having fun, and then everyone's just like staring them down.
Because you can't be friends in this show.
You can't. You just can't. It's not allowed. Yeah, so Aguri, they're sitting there talking, and Amano brings up this game that he bought that everyone says, oh man, I heard that game totally sucks, called Elder's Hunt.
Elder's Hunt.
Yeah, and
they talk about a game here in a second too that I swear they are talking about Destiny.
They might be. I don't know. But what they end up, so he ends up, you know, saying, yeah, and I spent $60 on it, or, you know, 6,000 yen or something. 60,000. Yeah,
we'll just say $60.
A lot of money.
That's how much video games are
That's
here.
how much games cost. But yeah, he spent a bunch of money on it, and Aguri just does not get it. Like, why would you spend that much money on a thing?
$60.
That's so crazy. And to which Tendo, feeling a little bit of offense to this, because Aguri says, you're spending on something you don't even need. And like Uehara's like, well, you spend more than that on clothes and stuff. He's like, well, yeah, but clothes, like, you wear clothes, you need clothes, you can't run around naked. Like, you don't need games. Tendo goes on a miniature rant here And she's like, well, there's plenty of things that you don't need or you
don't need expensive clothes. I don't know why that argument wasn't made.
Well, it's nice. Sometimes it's nice. I got nice jackets.
But it's not. You don't need it.
You don't need it, but it's nice.
That's the whole point, though. That was the whole point of her argument. And all you had to say to beat that argument was,
if you ever go on a date, sometimes you might,
Me and Catwin saw Affinity Wars.
What'd you think?
It was okay.
No spoilers.
It was okay.
I thought it was all right. I had my problems with it.
Yeah.
Seen it twice now. Jesus. All right.
I don't think I watch it twice. Yeah. That movie's long.
Yeah, it's like 3 fucking hours. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so Tendo goes on a miniature rant. She says there's plenty of things that you might call useless or things you don't need that are fun, like going to the movies on a date. And Amano and Chiaki, like every time she says one of these, you're just like, like nodding their heads behind them. They do the Mordecai movie. But she says, like, going to the movies on a date. Yeah. Or hitting up the bowling alley. Yeah. Or slowly undressing Amano with your eyes while he talks about stuff. What? Useless, but you wouldn't get rid of him. And Aguri's just like, well, I don't want to see Amano without his clothes on, so that's out. And, like, they're just... Everybody's just like, she's like just shooting all that down. And I'm like, all right, that was a fun conversation. I'm glad that conversation's over. No, that's the whole fucking episode. It's just them talking about spending money in DLC and fucking loot boxes for the whole thing.
Brandon, have you ever got any DLC before?
Don't you fucking start with this shit, man. Yeah, I'll so, all right.
Have you ever spent more in DLC than the game?
Stop. I like my loot boxes. Fuck you. Do I have pretty much every skin and or taunt and or emoticon on Overwatch? Yeah. Fuck you. Do I spend money on DLC? Yes.
Good to know.
I'll fucking
just good to know for the episode, dude.
I mean, mostly when I say DLC, I'm usually talking about like, the
like cosmetics.
No, not cosmetics. I'm talking like
that's what
usually,
Overwatch is.
Yeah, that's all cosmetics. But like that, you can get loot box just from playing. Like that's whatever. Sure. But like, when I think DLC, I think like story add-ons, extra missions, that kind of stuff.
Oh
like I finally finished Dragon Age Inquisition and then started another fucking playthrough because that game's rad.
Yeah.
But like there's a lot of DLC for that one that just adds like whole other levels and missions and shit, and I got all that. And I got it super cheap because it was on special, but it's a good time. Yeah, I don't mind. I pay for DLC. Now, what Roger is alluding to is I mentioned in a previous episode I had a Guy Online account. And yes, when I was on Guy Online, I spent a lot of money on dumb shit. All right? Which is why I'll just say it here. You can't make me feel bad about spending money on like DLC or loot boxes or dumb shit like that, because baby, I've already done the worst I can on fucking Guy Online. The story I told Roger, and this is true, is that several years ago, I was working at my job or whatever. I don't remember where I was working. I think it was Sefco. And I got my income tax, and it was an amount of money, and I ended up spending literally my entire income tax check buying stupid little pixelated clothes and shit on Gaia Online. Now, again, that's the worst I've ever done.
Hey, but that avatar looked sick.
I mean, you goddamn right. It looked amazing. Like I bought so much bullshit on there. Look, the point is, not good with money. Haven't been good with money. Am now better with money. And when I do some dumb shit with my money, you can't make me feel bad about it because, baby, I've already been there.
Yeah, already did it.
That's the thing. Yes, I'm bad with money. All right. You can stop glaring at me over the microphone now, Roger.
I'm not glaring at you for being bad at money.
You can stop laughing at me from behind your giant beard.
Hey man, you got more money than I do.
Fuck you.
So
all right.
That was not an insult.
Yeah, all right. Anyway.
Also, I will go ahead and say that I have purchased DLC too. We all have. And it makes sense to there is a good part to DLC as long as you're not paying to win.
Anyway.
Yada yada yada.
Anyway. This fucking guy. You fucking dork. Anyway. So yeah, Karen and Amino almost have a moment where like because Karen made that comment about undressing. Stop doing that. Karen made a comment about undressing Amano with her eyes, and Amano says a similar. And I like staring at Karen too when she talks. Just and they like have a really like the cloudy pink cloud moment where like they're about to kiss or whatever, and then it just back to reality, and everyone's just standing there staring at him, and Aguri's like, yeah, what was that about no flirting? Ugh. So later they go on, they're like somewhere else taking pictures with like these big statues and whatnot, because it's a hot springs. It's like all the cool statues and the trees and whatnot. It's really beautiful. And Aguri they're still having this conversation about spending so much money on games. Aguri, like, she says, I'm fine with movies and bowling, but she finds games boring. Her exact words, she says something like, well, a movie's like maybe 2 hours long, unless it's about those little dudes with the furry feet. Talking about the Hobbit movies, they're like 4 and 5 hours long, or the Lord of the Rings. And bowling is fun. It's kind of like working out even, but games are just boring. You're just sitting there beeping and booping. Or something like that.
Beeping and booping.
I don't think she says beeping and booping, but she says something like that. And, like, of course, everyone still, is taking offense to that, except Uehara, who's just, like, having fun and taking pictures. He's, like, taking a picture of Aguri doing a little peace sign with her eye and everything. Yeah. Super cute. But, like, they're all still at odds. And they're still arguing, like, back and forth about, like, no, games are fun, or, like, well, what do you, and, like, I think she actually says something about, like, you spend so many hours there, like, forever just doing nothing, and you don't even seem like you're having fun. And then one of them's like, yeah, but, like, grinding in those games is, like, that's how you level up. It's the thrill of, like, doing better and getting stronger that makes it fun. And she's like, well, then why aren't you having fun when you're doing? You're not even smiling. It's like, well, yeah, those parts can be kind of boring. So you admit you're not even having fun. It's like, they just go at it back and forth constantly. It's really goofy. Which is when they finally start talking about actual DLC. Once they're back at their rooms, and their room is like swank as hell. It's like the coolest freaking thing ever.
Wait, did you skip something?
Did I? No, not yet. What are you talking about? The hot springs?
When is the hot springs?
It's after this.
Okay.
I wrote that down. Trust me, I wrote that down. You fucking dick.
I need to get to them jiggle physics.
There's a lot of jiggling in that scene. It kind of bummed me out, parts of it. Anyway. But the room swank as hell.
I thought it was pretty well
done. They eat, they lounge around, they're still talking about games. What's DLC? What's day one DLC? It's like she's looking up the prices of games. She's like, Jesus, they're all like $60, 6,000, I think 60,000 yen or whatever.
Yeah.
6,000 yen.
It's 6,000 yen.
Yeah, 6,000 yen. And she's like, well, this one's 100,000. Jesus. Well, I mean, I guess it says it comes with like day one DLC and some other stuff. What's DLC? And Uehara explains, well, usually day one DLC is extra costumes and stuff. And, it's just stuff to dress up with. And Aguri's like, what, you're saying you spend extra money just so you have stuff to dress your characters up with? Yeah, Aguri, don't be a jerk. But she like looks at everyone when she says this, and Tendo, I think it's Tendo or Chiaki, the two of them are just like, hey, I don't like those kinds of DLC, blah, blah, blah. Like, I like other kinds. And then Uehara and Amano in tandem both say, well, if there's a bikini pack, you better believe I'm buying it.
Yeah.
These fucking kids. And then Amano tries to explain DLC using a ring metaphor. Talks about, like, what if he specifically makes it weird by saying, what if Uehara got trapped in a game or something like that, and you could like buy stuff to like dress him up with, or then you could buy your own stuff to dress him up with, and maybe his character would react differently. And she's like kind of getting it but not really. And then he says, all right, well, what if Uehara bought you a ring, like a really pretty ring with diamonds and stuff? And she like gets all blushy. She's like, well, I'd love that. And she's all about the ring. And she's like, well, and Amano's like, and you would equip it, right? Or you would wear it, right? And she's like, well, yeah, of course. And would that make you feel any certain way about Uehara? Well, yeah, I'd love it if he did that. Would it make you love him more? Well, yeah, I guess. All right. So he explains that he got you a piece of equipment that raises your love stat, and he bought it with real money. And, like, it's the goofiest shit, but, like, it kind of gets his point across.
Yeah.
And then,
everybody
like,
kind of is like back and like, that was pretty good.
yeah, it's pretty good. It's not bad.
Except for Uehara. He's like,
Uehara's pissed because he's like, stop using me to explain your stupid DLC or whatever. And at that point, like, Uehara, like, and Aguri have that, like, pink clouds moment where they're, like, about to kiss or whatever, and it's really cute. And he's like, besides, I'm good, just free to play. You don't have to do it. You don't have to pay anything extra to get me. And she's like, oh, Tasuku. And then little Amano pops up. He's like, buy a loot box for a chance to win this snapshot of teenage love. Only 300 yen. And Aguri is like, what? I'll buy 100.
Yeah, she's like, take my money.
She literally is like, shut up and take my money. And, like, she gets loot boxes now, apparently, or she would buy one anyway. And then to which Uehara explains, "Nah, don't do that. Save your money. They're just catering to the gacha addiction," which I thought was pretty great. And then so this happens a couple more times, and them trying to explain it, and finally, Aguri is like, you know what? I think I understand video games. Games are total bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And everyone just freaks out. It's so dumb. So then they talk about endings behind DLC paywalls. Like, Aguri's like looking more stuff up on our phone. I'm getting to the hot springs. Don't quit glaring at me.
Where them jiggle physics.
God, you're the worst. And like how people were pissed off about that, like having to pay to see the endings for characters and whatnot. And like asks like, what kind of DLC would you even watch or anything would you want? Which is when Uehara says, and I watched it in the regular and the dub version. In the regular version, he's like, oh, I want to see all the girls get, and then it cuts to them at the hot spring. In the sub version, he said, you actually see like him, the subtitle says, he actually mentions swimsuit, and then it cuts. Like he wants to see them all in bikinis and shit. But it cuts to the hot springs, and Karen's sitting there, and she says she would want to get higher difficulty levels. And this is where we see the girls at the hot springs. Tendo is like sitting on a rock, so she's out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Aguri is in the water, like just over her chest, and Chiaki is next to her, again, water just at her chest. And man, the titties is out. It zooms in as they're conversing, as they're saying all these lines that I'm about to go over, like it's zooming in, like panning across just their chest, like, and then it like pans across like Tendo's thighs or whatever. Like the camera goes everywhere. You don't see any nipples, obviously, because that's the one thing they won't do, but or any like, you know, actual nudity, but you see so much cleavage, so much side boob, so much under boob, so much over boob, the boobs.
So they do this a lot in anime now too, where they do like that little shine on boobs or just
like it's
skin.
always like a pink like mark with a little shine on it.
I don't think it ever looks good. It looks like a blister.
Meh.
Why you gotta do that? Just put some white light over there and
you really focusing on these titties, huh?
I focus on the skin.
All right. Yeah, the titty skin. I got you.
Yeah, the titty skin.
Yeah, the titty skin.
There we go.
So
them jiggle
girls
physics.
at the hot springs. I wrote here's just I'm just gonna read what I wrote. Girls at the hot springs. Titties is out. Camera really focuses on Tendo's boobs while she talks about overcoming difficult games, and then focuses on Aguri's chest. Then Tendo's lap. Then Chiaki's tits. Then Aguri's thighs. Then it just goes back and forth. Like the whole time they're talking, they're having an actual conversation about DLC and different kinds of DLC and different kinds of games and blah, 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 this and that. But none of them are talking. Their tits are talking because you never see their faces or their mouths or anything, which I guess saves on animation costs, but also, you know what we're here for.
Yep.
Yeah. So Tendo's talking about like wanting to play more difficult games. Aguri at one point says, man, are all gamers just a bunch of pain-loving weirdos? Chiaki is not and doesn't quite appreciate the implication. Chiaki says that the DLC she's like would be like, you know, knowing what happened after the RPG. And she wants DLC that's like so off the beaten path. She actually has a whole thing about wanting to see an RPG where the hero and heroine turn into fishes. And then there's like, what if they were, and then they just don't turn back.
You remember Uehara talking earlier about the fish anime too?
I don't actually.
Or sorry, the fish game. He talks about playing this games. This Amino recommended a game to him from an indie developer.
Oh yeah.
And it was a good RPG, and it started off pretty neat.
And then at the end, it turned into a fishing game and all that shit. Yeah. That is kind of a. I don't know if that's a proper callback, but it's pretty funny. But yeah.
Hi, Allie. Oh. Allie's on the messenger.
Oh, God.
I told her I would say hi.
All right, shout out to Allie. Shout out to our good buddy Allie. Hey, girl, hey. I know if anyone's going to write that fucking fanfic, it's her, so. God damn it.
Oh, man. Hopefully she finds the time.
God, I hope this never happens. All right.
Remember that we both have beards, so.
Jesus
Go ahead and include that. This is my cinnamon roll, okay?
I'm so sad about everything.
My cinnamon roll.
The worst. All right, so Chiaki and Aguri are like kind of arguing, like talking about how she wants like weird RPGs and shit, weird endings that are like not the vanilla experience.
A fish or any other animal.
Yeah, and like talks about like what if they turned into fish and then had to fight the roach people on Mars or something. It was like really, really goofy. And like the point being that like she wants it to be weird and different.
Yeah.
Chiaki's point is it should be completely weird and apart from the regular game, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, they really go off on it, which that's where I wrote this stuff down. But like I said, I wrote down here, seriously, this camera, the girls aren't arguing, but their breasts are. Like they're literally, when she does that and like starts talking about the DLC, it's like you see just Aguri's chest in the water. And she's like, blah, 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 are all gamers such weirdos, psychos, like pain-loving weirdos? And then you see, like, it does the split screen thing where, like, Chiaki leans over and is like, no, blah, 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 I'm making a point. But again, it's just her chest. Like, it's really weird and goofy, which is where I wrote down here, this is the part where, this is why I believe this is not canon. Like, this, and maybe this is me giving them an excuse for being so fan servicey, but so be it. This is how you play devil's advocate. Chiaki's point is DLC should be completely weird and very apart from the regular game. It has to be so far removed from the regular series. And I said maybe that's a bit meta considering what this episode is, but maybe I'm giving too much credit. No, that's definitely what they were going to. That's what they're going for.
The last episode, 11, is definitely the finale to the series. Yeah. This is just your extra episode, but it's still part of the series.
It's just so damn goofy. I don't know.
I do like whenever
it's just so much tits, and like Chiaki like,
is explaining
gets out of the water and like you actually for the first time see those jiggle physics.
Yeah,
like she's actually
and this is when
jiggling and stuff.
It gets crazy too. After that moment, there's just jiggling.
Then there's
everywhere.
Like a scene where like you see like a slope as she's standing there. You see Aguri like between. You see like the camera's behind Chiaki, so you're seeing the backs of like her shins. And you see Aguri through her legs, and the camera slowly pans up until you almost see her butt, and then it like cuts so that and like she's Chiaki's leaning over and saying something, and the camera's like right where like pointing again at Aguri, but the camera's like underneath her chest as she's leaning over, so you just kind of see her breast like hanging in front of you.
Was that Aguri or was that Chiaki?
That was Chiaki. You see her leaning over, and Aguri's like in front of her. She's talking to Aguri. It's like the angles they go for. It's like so. It's just so blatant, man.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
I know that's the whole point, but it's like Jesus Christ.
I do like the part where she's talking. Chiaki's talking about the weird endings with the fish people or whatever, and Tendo's like, no. And it flashes back to Chiaki, and she has the fish head from Seaman. Do you know about that game?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so on Sega Dreamcast, there is a game called Seaman. It's voiced by Leonard Nimoy.
Okay.
And the whole game is like a Tamagotchi or something like that.
Okay.
You're spending a bunch of time with this weird fish thing that talks to you and judges you.
Yeah. Tell me about it slower.
It talks to you. And it judges you. And this fish.
And what's the game called?
Seaman.
Oh, God. All right. I think we're...
You wet the basement?
Excuse me, I just flooded my
the basement.
All right. So
you definitely need to check that game out because it is totally freaking weird. There's an angry video game nerd episode about it,
of course,
which is great.
Of course, there is. God, but
gonna take you back to the past.
Jesus Christ!
To play the shitty games and suck ass you'd rather have.
So
okay.
Yeah, they clearly like make a point of it being meta and whatnot. At which point they Chiaki and Aguri both notice that Tendo's like leaning against the wall of the hot spring. They're like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm trying to listen to what's going on in the boys' hot spring." Never see the boys' hot spring. Of course not. Too many titties over on this side of the wall. So now cut back. They're all back inside in their robes and they're sitting in some massage chairs. Amino talks about like epilogue DLC, but also notes that he doesn't like anything too crazy, unlike Chiaki, and he also likes having harder difficulty levels. Way to take a side. Aguri jokes about Amino being a lame sidekick, and they like kind of like joke with each other, and like again they're being all like super palsy, like haha, joking and poking fun at each other. Can't be friends. Everybody like stares him down. I will point out, if y'all were so concerned about that, why the hell did y'all sit in the order y'all sat in? Because the order they're going from left to right is Chiaki, then Tendo, then Uehara, then Amino, and then Aguri. Why didn't Tendo, if you're so concerned, why didn't you sit next to Amino, and Uehara, if you're so concerned, why didn't you sit next to Aguri?
Yeah.
Because they're dumb. And they had to go boy, girl, bro, girl, but they didn't go boy, girl, bro, girl. They went girl, girl, boy, boy, girl.
Well, is there enough? Is there a way to you can go girl, boy?
Yeah,
girl,
there's
boy.
three girls and two boys. They totally could have gone girl, boy, girl, boy.
So you split it evenly.
But they didn't. They went girl, girl, boy, boy, girl. I don't know, man. This fucking whole episode just, ugh. But yeah, the others are annoyed that they're being so cute together again. So now they're setting up their beds. Amino and Uehara set up their beds, and they're ready. Karen walks in, sets up her bed next to Amino, and kneels down. She's like, "Oh, done." And then, nope, gets dragged right out because, again, can't be sharing rooms. We already talked about that. Girls and boys have separate rooms and whatnot. Aguri also...
boring.
Cry. You saw so many titties. You really concerned about that? Aguri tries to set up her bed next to Uehara, but Tendo says, "Hey, if I can't, then you can't." And yeah, that's it. So it cuts to them all playing a party game, and Amino talks about like a DLC he would like if the hero and heroine lived happily ever after the game. And he says, like, you know, there's no need to put him in any more danger after the original game. And then everyone's like, yeah, but that'd be so boring. Like, it may as well just turn into a farming simulator. Kind of like fucking Uehara's RPG turned into a fishing game. You're right about that. But, yeah, Aguri seems to finally get it. She says, you know, okay, so DLC is like extra toppings on a pizza or dessert after a meal. But then when the DLC is crappy, that's why people get so mad, because the pizza sucked and they had to pay extra for sauce. It's like, damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good way to look at it. But yeah, then they all talk about, Aguri says something like, everybody's all like bummed out because she's like making these comments, and Aguri makes a comment, "Man, I'm sorry to rag on this stuff you all like so much." And they're like, "No, it's fine. It's part of being a gamer, is like, you know, having people rag on you." And she's like, "Man, I think you really are a bunch of masochists."
Mm-hmm.
And like Tendo said, she says, at which point Amino says, "Well, it's a wide spectrum," and she's on the far end of it. And Tendo, of course, takes offense to that, and like, okay, you could have stood up for your girlfriend there, dum-dum. But then the final scenes here, Amino shares some memories about his parents getting him the wrong game years ago, and he ended up playing it off and on for years anyway. Like, even though it was a shitty game, like just a clone, like rip off of the game he actually wanted, he really did end up enjoying it and had a lot of fun. And everyone finally gets on the same page. Like, they're talking about how, you know, it can be fun to play shitty games. And even
this is where I think they talked about Destiny.
Maybe.
Or at least hinted something. They talked about a AAA game that wasn't very fun. The story was there, but you just couldn't stop playing it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, they all talk about, like, you know, games being crappy and still crappy games being fun, because it's like watching a bad movie, or like, you know, reading up on how bad this game was on review sites and whatnot. And they all end up on the same page. They finally seem to like understand each other, and it's kind of a cute moment. And then Amino reaches into his robes and pulls out that shitty game he was talking about buying earlier and says, "And with that in mind, I suggest we all spend the rest of the night playing Elder's Hunt, and to see if it's as bad as they say." And everyone's like, "All right, bedtime," and just goes straight to bed. And he just ends up standing there, like, holding the game. And that's where the show ends. The end. One last Tendo bikini shot, this time with a switch.
I put that up on the Good Buddies Universe page today.
Of course you
whenever I was promoting that we were doing the episode and stuff.
What did the thing on it
That was
say?
actually my favorite of the screenshot.
It said, like, to be continued on everyone except the last one. What did it say on the last one? Did it say, like, game over or the end or something?
Something close to that. Let's see. Let's go Good Buddies.
Checking that Facebook page.
Universe. The Good Buddies Universe. That's on Facebook. We don't have a lot of members in here. We got 22 right now. Trying to get us one of those organic builds here. So if you're interested, hit Facebook, go there.
You save the plugs for the end of the show, you ding dong.
I'm just hitting them now. Stage clear.
Stage clear.
That one's my favorite. That one's my favorite picture of all of them too.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because I couldn't remember if it said like game over or whatever, but stage clear implies that no, this isn't the end. It's going to keep going.
I don't foresee this getting another season, but who knows?
I wouldn't mind it. I would like.
It didn't do terribly bad or anything.
Yeah,
People
liked it. I
liked
wouldn't mind seeing like more of this, but I mean, all in all, I don't know. It was good. Obviously, I don't think it holds a candle to the other series we've covered so far, but I thought it was fun.
A side note about this kind of too is I said that people liked it. Before I went to bed last night, I saw a video on my phone. I was checking my YouTube, and I saw a video on my phone. It was one of those dang old Watch Mojo videos.
Oh, bun.
It was the top 10 video game anime. Or video game animes about video games.
List, right?
This did make the list.
Okay. At
what 7.
Number 7. Okay, that's not bad.
What
Lucky
blew
7.
my mind was number 10 was Recovery of a MMO Junkie.
That show's fun.
I know that we talk about that a lot on the show, and we probably won't be doing it anytime soon.
We talk about it too much. Like everyone should just watch that show because it's really cute.
But to me, that this show was not as good as that show.
Yeah, I agree.
By a long shot.
I thought Recovery was way more fun.
And Sword Art Online was first.
Well,
and I was
because it was huge. Don't they have a spinoff that's like Gun Art Online coming out or something like
Gun
that?
Gun
Girl.
And I heard that one's actually really good, so I might check it out.
I still haven't seen Sword Art Online. Buddy of mine at work who still hasn't sent us any questions, even though he said he would. Yeah, I'm calling you out, ding dong. He was super into it and made it sound like it was really cool, but I still haven't watched Sword Art.
The second half of it's not really cool.
You hear that? You hear that, boy?
It's not.
But yeah, man, I thought. What do you think of the show?
The first part of it's good.
What do you think of the whole show? What do you think? What do you think, gamers?
I think that it was good. I think
it was pretty good.
Are we gonna do our 3 words?
I got my 3 words. Let's go.
Okay.
You want to think about it?
So,
give me yours. I want to hear yours.
Misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Youthful.
Sure.
And nerdy.
Yeah, okay.
Mine was too basic. But that's really
I think that was good. That was very good. I will say that like from like flipping back and forth between the sub and the dub, I feel like the subtitle version, like the original Japanese or whatever, is less nerdy because they definitely make less video game references. They're still in there, but maybe again we said before maybe that's a translation thing. Like they couldn't work in the jokes they wanted to, so they just like said it as it was. And in this one they put in
and
a
I
bunch
think
more.
they took good liberties here. Sometimes they take liberties and they're I thought they made it more. The dub made it more about the American.
Yeah, it was definitely Americanized.
Watching it, yeah.
I thought it was fun. I think my 3 words would be goofy, dumb, fun.
Yeah, that's good.
Which I think is a good way to describe.
I wouldn't
it.
say
It's
this
fun.
is. I wouldn't say this is run of the mill or anything. I would say
no, certainly not.
I would say it's above par. It was good, but it's not like my mind wasn't blown by the end of this. This was not Made in Abyss or even Devilman Crybaby. Man, but it was good. I have zero regrets, no regrets watching it.
No regrets.
And if something happens and they made a second season, I would watch it. I think it was good. 7 out of 10. That's where I would put it.
I don't do numbers, but I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun. But yeah, man, that's the show. Do we have some questions?
You better believe that we got some questions.
Oh, here come the viewer questions. Y'all send them in, so we're going to talk about it.
We're going to do Renook first.
There you go. Again, no solo.
What is
you keep fucking me, dude. No solo. Damn.
Oh, dude. Hold on. We're going back.
Don't Don't really. No, forget it. No.
Can I get a bass line?
You're gonna overdo it now.
Can I get a bass line? This is gonna be a tasty solo, okay?
This is the worst. Stupid. This is stupid. I'm sad I brought it up. I'm really sad. I wish y'all could see this. My boy has lost his mind.
There you go, buddy.
Jesus Christ.
Questions.
I'm never going to bring it up again. I'm sorry.
Renut, what was the funniest anime you've ever seen?
Oh, shit. Funniest anime I've ever seen. I don't know, man. I need to think about that. Because No, I don't need to think about it. It's probably Fooly Cooly.
Oh, that's
that show's fucking amazing. Yeah, I really like that. I like that show. So I watched it when it aired on Adult Swim. I made sure to tune in every time there was a new episode until I saw the whole thing. It's only 6 episodes, really great.
I feel like everybody, if you're watching this, you've probably seen Fooly Cooly.
Must have. If you haven't hit me up, I'll let you borrow the Blu-ray because yes, I own the Blu-ray, and yes, before I bought the Blu-ray when they released it on Blu-ray, I did buy those really shitty like burned version on DVD, like in the ones that come in like the super thin case that like clearly someone just printed the cover out. Yeah, I got those bitches on eBay because I love that fucking show. That one I still have because it has some special features that weren't on the Blu-ray. That are like fucking hilarious, like the bloopers. There's one where like the dude who does the voice for Eyebrow Boy is just trying to say Haruko's real name, and it takes him like 20 tries, and he's like, Haru Hara Haru, Haru Hara Haru, Haru Hara Haru. Like he keeps going, and then finally he's like, was any of that right? And the dude in the booth just goes, no. It's fucking hilarious. Anyway, but yeah, that's just bloopers. Like the bloopers are hilarious, but the show itself is fucking amazing. It's one of the funniest goddamn things I've ever seen in my life. It's
really
just so good.
New seasons.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for the new seasons. It's probably, I'm not gonna say it's gonna suck. I'm gonna say it's not gonna live up to it because it's too big in my own mind.
Not. Yeah,
I like there's almost no way it can. But I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna
do my very best to enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have a good time regardless.
I would say for mine, it's a hard pick between GTO.
Oh yeah,
I said that I love GTO, and the faces in that anime are so freaking priceless. When they go and do those hand drawn faces, I still laugh at it. And I've seen this series probably 10 or 11 times, and it's not a short series. It's not a terribly long series. It's 43 episodes.
Yeah, you let me borrow it, and I ran through the whole thing, and it is really fucking funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of good moments. The other one that comes to mind is
Golden Boy.
Golden Boy's hilarious.
That's like the same vein as GTO, right? Like very similar.
Kinda.
I don't think I've ever actually seen I've seen a lot of clips of Golden Boy.
So there are some differences, but yeah, Golden Boy has some GT-esque moments about it, or GTO-esque moments.
This fucking guy.
I actually just finished watching Golden Boy again.
Yeah,
and it is freaking hilarious. It's still funny.
Yeah,
so that's a good one to put on there.
I really need to check that one out. But what was
your
other one?
Have you never seen Golden Boy?
I've seen clips of it. I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing.
I mean, it's from the 90s, so the humor and the fan service there is a bit different, is over the top. Oh my God, there's a scene. Allie, we were talking about it the other day whenever I posted on my other anime page.
I've seen 2 clips of that show. One is...
Did you see my BMO, baby?
What? Okay, I'm gonna say no because I don't know what that is. But I've seen like the clip where he sees the girl who rode there on a motorcycle, and he like
that's
freaking
the
out
BMO.
about
Yeah,
that's her.
Yeah,
like where he's like
the motorcycle, and he's like
ranting
is her
about
BMO.
it. Okay, he's like ranting about like how hot she is, and like doesn't realize I followed her all the way down here or something. I've seen that clip, and of course the clip where he like is swimming. That shit's hilarious to me.
Yeah. How did you like my swimming?
Like
that might be the funniest moment.
That shit was real.
Thing.
I remember watching that and thinking, man, this shit's real funny. But
it is
you had another one you were gonna say, and I keep interrupting you.
School Rumble.
Yeah. Okay.
Very, very, very funny.
I think I've heard of that. I've never seen it.
It's another slice of life anime.
I do love a slice of life anime.
It's lots of misunderstandings, Lots of little triangles going on in there. But the anime itself is really, really,
There's a few
really funny.
I tend to really like the slice of life shits. Like I was telling Roger before we started, I watched like one episode so far, but I'm planning on watching the rest of it. Of that laid back camp show. Mm-hmm. It's like super cute and super goofy, and I liked it. I like it so far. There's another one. Is it called like Nichijou or something like that? About like some schoolgirls that like I remember seeing clips of it that were really funny. There's one like where the girl like sees a dog and she's like, "Oh, puppy," and she goes to pet it and the dog just goes hump and bites her hand and she goes and like screams so hard that like a fucking Kamehameha shoots out of her mouth and breaks a building in half. Like it looks hilarious. I gotta look that one up.
Yeah, that sounds good.
What is that shit called? Let me see if I can find the name of it real quick. I feel like a ding dong.
I also laughed really, really, really hard at Prison School.
Of course, yeah. I thought you might bring
more than I would like to even admit. I would like to say that I didn't like that anime. I'm almost ashamed that I did. I'm not ashamed, but I'm almost there.
Nichijou. I think I'm saying that right. Nichijou. I gotta look that up. The clips I've seen are really funny.
But yeah, Prison School was very funny.
Of course, Prison School is fucking good. You keep bringing it up, and you keep saying like how much you're so sure I wouldn't be into it. That yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, you wouldn't, dude.
All right.
Which I recommend that you watch it.
I mean, you recommend I watch a lot of stuff.
Maybe go through. Okay, yeah, but I usually recommend you stuff that's really good.
All right. Yeah, Mongolian Chop Squad.
Very good.
All right.
What did you think about? I recommended Recovery of a MMO Junkie.
Yeah, and that was a really good one. You were right.
I also told you last week to watch Barakamon. That one's very good too.
Let me like type that into my phone so
adorable.
I don't forget this shit. I'm just gonna wait. I literally have a phone that comes with a stylus pre-installed. Let me
boom. Look at this bougie. So bougie.
Barakamon.
Yep.
Barakamon. Saving notes.
Good. It's good. But oh, you know
Thanks
what?
For the question,
we got one more question. Yep.
Thanks for the question, Renook. It's real cool of you.
Yeah. Okay. This is from our good buddy Clayton.
Oh, Clayton.
Okay, so Clayton has corrected me too.
Oh no.
In the first couple of episodes,
from the corrections department.
I was trying to figure out how to say his last name. It's spelled.
No.
Well, I'm not going to spell it out for anybody.
Do we need to know? We don't need to tell.
He told me.
I'm
not going to say how it's spelled.
You did that in the first episode too. You like read everybody's last name and it was like Roger.
Yeah, I shouldn't. It's learning. But
the curve.
Sorry. His last name is pronounced Friend.
What?
Yep, it's pronounced Friend.
Okay, neat.
And I would like to say that Clayton is a friend, but more than that,
he's a good buddy.
He's a buddy, and he's a damn good one at that.
You fucking dork. All right, what's the question, man?
Who is the best girl in gamers? Who's your favorite girl?
Okay. Well,
he's not asking waifu.
He definitely worded it for me. Thank you, Clayton. That's a toughie. I don't know. They're all pretty great.
Yeah.
I think. Man, I really don't. You go first.
I have maybe a Guri.
Yeah, Guri's pretty bad.
That last bit of episode, especially where she defended.
She told off like her former friend.
Her old turd ass friends and assholes. Those douchebags.
Yeah.
I really, really liked that scene. That did a whole lot for her character. And I think that probably puts her in the lead for me. I really liked her Guri.
Yeah.
By the end of it, I really like. And she just genuinely wants to be friends with Amino. She's the only one that's not weird about it. Why would she be weird about their own friendship? Of course, but like she's, I don't know. These characters are all confusing.
Yeah,
that's who I would pick. Tendo is good. Chiaki is good as well.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I think because Aguri's super cool because she's like. She's just like she definitely stands up for like other people. I don't know. Tendo's really cool. Kind of obsessive.
Good at games.
Very good at games.
Competitive. You wouldn't like her.
Fuck you, man. Chiaki's super cool. Chiaki probably would be more my speed just because she's so like super chill, but also like seems a little like like I said too like an introvert. Now, I'll tell you who it is. It's the what's the name?
The sister playing the booby games?
No, come on, no. Oh God, probably not. No, it'd be Nina, the fighting girl game from the game club.
Oh yeah.
Who just sits there. She doesn't even talk. She's just like on them sticks.
Yeah.
No, that would be your girl for sure. Are you kidding?
Might be you.
She plays on a fight stick. You'd be all about it. No, I'd probably
on them sticks.
I'd probably go Chiaki. Chiaki seems fun.
I got a
I don't
fight
know,
stick
man.
right here.
He does in fact. Oh no! Don't click it. Don't make the noise. No.
Boom.
Fucking worst.
Nailed it.
You're the fucking worst.
360 no scope.
I hate you so much. No, yeah, I think probably Chiaki just because she's making shit. She's making shit and she's out there doing her own thing. I think that's cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all of our questions.
All right, we got through that.
Thank you, Clayton, my friend.
Appreciate you.
My buddy.
Appreciate you, all our good buddies who send questions.
Y'all are all good buddies.
And all our good buddies who don't send questions.
And remember that you can send questions. There's infinite places to do it.
Yeah, man.
You can email them to us at thegoodbuddiesanimepod@gmail.com. You can go to the Good Buddies Universe Facebook page.
There's a Twitter.
Yeah, we have a Twitter. It's TGB_animepod. All of that is lowercase.
We also have the Tumblr, which I need to remember to link up. But that's thegoodbuddies.tumblr.com.
Yep. So send questions in. Even if you comment on a video, if you're watching YouTube, just comment your question on a video, and we can take it from there.
We'll definitely see it.
Yeah.
Unless we somehow get so popular that
I look at my app all the dang time.
I fucking doubt it.
I can't ever imagine a time that I won't be looking at my app.
This guy. Well, if we're done, I would like to, of course, give a shout out to our good buddies, Married with Seamonsters, a.k.a. the Mary Janes, for the use of our opening theme, Paperdoll, which you can find
Don't
on...
wanna be old Paperdoll.
It's so good. Which you can find on marriedwithseamonsters.bandcamp.com. They also have a Spotify, of course. And, of course, our good buddy Petty Theft.
Yeah.
For our closing theme, which is just an untitled, amazing thing.
Does
it have a title? What did he name it?
I don't remember. It was like house music or something like that.
Good Buddies house music.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here in the house of the Good Buddies.
I like that song. It rips, man.
It did. It's pretty sweet. I like it a lot. I like it as our outro.
Yeah, and like you can time it just perfectly for us to finish talking, and then boom.
Yeah,
into
man.
the good stuff. It's good.
It's so good because like the way you time it so that it drops right then. It's like here we go. Let's do this. Is there anything else we need to go over?
Nope.
From all of us here at the Good Buddies Universe, I'm your good buddy Brandon.
I'm your good buddy Roger.
And wait, here comes the drop. Guys, we're back. We fucked up. No, we finished Gamers. We need to talk about what we're doing next.
Yep.
And what we're doing next is
Violet Evergarden.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry. It's on Netflix.
Yep, we're gonna do episodes 1 through. Let me check and see how many.
I think it's like 11 or 12. But yeah, I don't know much about this show except that it appears to be about a robot person. The war is over. She needs a job. That was like the brief description I saw on Netflix, I think. It looks super cool. It also looks like one of those really dramatic series that is gonna make me cry. So you'll get to hear about it. I'm just gonna start weeping. How many episodes we got?
13 episodes.
You really fucked me on that one, man. I had a great like here comes the drop. It was awesome.
Don't worry, dude. I'm gonna put this before that even happens.
Nah, man, put it after. I think it's funnier that way.
Okay.
Can you like do the drop and then like do like a record scratch?
Yeah,
wait, we fucked up.
Yep, I can. Shriek it.
All right. Anyway, so
we got 13 episodes. We will do episodes 1 through 4 next week. The week after that, 5, 6, 7, 8. The week after that, we'll close out the series with one of those big old 5-episode finales.
See, we did that with Made in Abyss, and then it turned out the last episode was a double episode.
I don't think this one's a double episode.
All right. You say that now, but yeah, okay.
I do say that now. But
first 4 next week. Next week, the next 4. Next week after that, the final 5. So
hey, that last episode of Made in Abyss is like our best episode. We have the
so
most
good
views on it. Yeah,
it was beautiful. It was a really great show. Anyway, once again, redoing the outro from us here at the Good Buddy Universe. I'm your good buddy Brandon.
I'm your good buddy Roger.
Look, I already did the great ending, so we'll see you around. Bye.
Drop.